Severance is a mind-bending, incredible tour de force, with a solid mystery, excellent visuals and some great acting across the board. That's before even mentioning the tension and one of the more unique musical scores seen in recent years. All in all, this show is undoubtedly a must-watch. If you finish watching this one and are looking for alternate picks, we've combed through the archives and saved you the hassle with our top 10 picks that aren't spin-offs or set in the same universe. As always, let us know your favourites in the comments and which of these you've watched. So without further ado, let's start the countdown. Dispatches from Elsewhere follows four strangers who stumble into a mysterious game orchestrated by a shadowy organisation. What begins as an offbeat, quirky scavenger hunt soon turns into a deeply emotional journey, challenging perceptions of reality and forcing the four to confront personal truths. With surreal twists and compelling character arcs, the series weaves together themes of purpose, connection and identity. For fans of Severance, the show offers a similarly enigmatic vibe, exploring mysteries of an overarching system while also adopting an off-kilter visual style. There's an endearing whimsical tone here, focusing on emotional growth alongside its puzzles. Both shows, however, will successfully leave you questioning what's real and what's just beneath the surface of everyday life. Based on Michael Crichton's campy 1973 novel, Westworld is anything but cheesy sci-fi. In fact, Westworld is a heady, thought-provoking puzzle box full of intriguing ideas and challenging themes. At the heart of this lies a theme park known as Westworld, where robot inhabitants serve their human hosts' every desire. But what would happen then if those robots start to gain sentience? This question consumes large parts of Westworld, and while the later seasons do lose sight of what made the show so special, season 1 in particular is about as close as you could get to a perfect sci-fi series. If you're in the mood for mind-bending sci-fi with a twist, this one should definitely be added to your watch list. The interesting thing with Counterpart is just how normalised its sci-fi elements are. Here we're dealing with parallel worlds, and in particular one that's accessible via a pathway guarded by government authorities. At the centre of this lies Howard Silk, who inadvertently winds up entangled in a big cover-up and face to face with his doppelganger from a parallel reality. Trouble is brewing though, leading Howard and his double to trade places and grapple with a plotline involving powerful forces intent on disrupting the natural flow of both worlds. This is a smartly written thriller, and although only running for 2 seasons, does well to add a paranoia-inducing and mysterious flavour to its parallel worlds idea. If thematic depth is your jam, The Leftovers is definitely worth checking out. Running for 3 seasons, the story picks up just after a global event called the Sudden Departure. This inexplicable event sees the disappearance of 140 million people, or 2% of the world's population to be precise. Following that, mainstream religions decline, which paves way for a number of cults to emerge. The most notable among them is the Guilty Remnant. The story only grows more intriguing and interesting over time as thematic questions come to the foreground. However, to give much more away about this would be a disservice to the series, but if you haven't already, you should definitely add The Leftovers to your watch list. Produced by Alex Garland, Devs revolves around a girl called Lily working at a tech company called Amaya. When her boyfriend Sergey is invited to join the top secret branch there known as Devs, everything changes. Unfortunately, Sergey stumbles onto something he shouldn't, and his disappearance sparks some big questions, which Lily aims to answer. While the story is a little overlong and sags in the middle a bit, the thought-provoking questions and moody atmosphere are enough to stick it out until the end. There's an absolutely incredible musical score attached to this one too, which is easily the big highlight of the show, while the acting throughout is exemplary. If you're looking for a solid binge watch, this one should whet the appetite. Legion is a challenging sci-fi series that exists somewhere within the weird space of the X-Men universe. It's also one of the more unusual and visually stunning shows you're likely to see in quite some time. When you've watched Legion, you'll know why this is on the list, especially given some of the twists during the latter periods of the show. The story here revolves around a super mutant named David Haller. This troubled young man spends his time institutionalized after being diagnosed as a schizophrenic. What follows is an unforgettable journey as David tries to make sense of what's happening and why he's there. The show has 3 seasons and ends conclusively too, making for a solid watch that's very much recommended. When Netflix announced the OA's cancellation, it caused quite the stir online. That alone should tell you all you need to know about the power and quality surrounding this utterly bizarre Netflix original. The OA is undeniably weird, and its mystery does so well to keep you glued to find out what happens next. The main story revolves around a missing blind girl called Prairie returning home. Now in her 20s, she suddenly has her sight restored and no one seems to know why. From here, the show grows and piles on more mystery, delivering 2 seasons of utterly compelling TV. Unfortunately, the final episode of season 2 does end on a cliffhanger, which could make or break the experience for you. However, in terms of atmosphere and riveting mystery, the OA absolutely nails it. What do you get when you mix the Space Odyssey, Brazil, The Twilight Zone, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Probably something close to Netflix's genre-bending series, Maniac. The opening few episodes plunge us headfirst into this alternate 80s world, introducing us to our 2 protagonists and their personal lives. From here though, the rest of the episodes constantly reinvent itself as the series takes a hedonistic trip into a fantastical dream world. The show centres on 2 strangers who are drawn to a mysterious pharmaceutical trial for a drug that they're assured will, with no complications whatsoever, permanently solve all their problems. Naturally, things do not go as planned. It won't be for everyone, but the trippy visuals and interesting premise make this a solid watch nonetheless. After the success of Mr. Robot, creator Sam Esmail set his sights on a new venture, noir thriller Homecoming. This intriguing thriller essentially splits its focus between the past and present. Main protagonist Heidi works as a waitress in present-day America, but at a company called Homecoming in the past. This company, run by a sleazy boss called Colin, aims to rehabilitate damaged soldiers back into civilian life through an experimental, privately funded program. One of the stars of said program happens to be a veteran by the name of Walter, who has all the makings to be the perfect test subject. With a significant chunk of Heidi's memory mysteriously missing, investigator Carrasco begins to piece together what happened in the present-day timeline. With 30-minute episodes and an uneasy dread clinging to large parts of the story, the aesthetic and visual design feel very similar to Severance's. While the second season isn't quite as effective as the first, there's a lot to like here nonetheless. Thought-provoking, thrilling, and incredibly stylish, Amazon exclusive Mr. Robot is a slickly made thriller that depicts the shady underworld of hacking perfectly. With dark, minimally lit scenes and a gripping plot woven throughout its 4 seasons, Mr. Robot manages to enthrall from start to finish. The story here centres on a man named Elliot, a brilliant but unstable cybersecurity engineer and vigilante hacker. He becomes a key figure in a complex game of global chaos when he and his shadowy allies try to take down the corrupt corporation his company is paid to protect. This is not only one of the smarter written shows on TV, it's also one that closes out its 4th season with a near perfect finale. The least said about this one the better, and if you're looking for a show on par with the best in a genre, Mr. Robot is an absolute must watch. So there we have it, our 10 TV show alternatives to watch when you finish streaming Severance on Apple TV+. So what did you think of our picks? Do you agree? Are there any notable omissions? Or do you think we're way off the mark? Either way, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.